One of the most potent lines in all of atheist literature was written by my friend Richard Dawkins in his book, The God Delusion. The God of the Old Testament is arguably the most unpleasant character in all fiction, jealous and proud of it. A petty, unjust, unforgiving control freak, a vindictive, bloodthirsty, ethnic cleanser, a misogynistic, homophobic, racist, infanticidal, genocidal, filicidal, pestilential, megalomaniacal, sadomasochistic, capriciously malevolent bully. Sadly, and almost impossibly, this might be one of the greatest misunderstatements ever. From the very beginning of this channel, in Episode 1, Mr. Deity and the Evil, I've been calling attention to the fact that God is, as the religious also believe, the biggest dick ever. No offense to Richard, of course. One of the things Richard got wrong is that he limited those comments to the God of the Old Testament. According to Christian theology, Jesus is that very same God post-facelift and hair dye. Although Jesus was clearly attempting the long con of acting as though he really was an all-loving being, breaking the grift only when he ultimately one-upped his tribal war god of Abraham dad/self by promising an eternity of unspeakable violence against those of us who simply can't believe a story filled with more holes than a PragerU video. Or Prager's actual head. No book in history has inspired more cowardice and sycophancy than the Bible, with both Jews and Christians going out of their way to excuse this capriciously malevolent bully, defending genocide, the murder of homosexuals, non-virgin girls, and a being who simply can't forgive, needing instead the blood sacrifice of his self/son. All because they fear this vindictive, bloodthirsty ethnic cleanser and his unending embrace of barbarity in the world to come. It's bad enough that God committed genocide himself with the supposed global flood he used to give himself a do-over, proving no one embraces cancel culture quite like the God of Abraham. But think about this. When God finally got around to giving his people their land of promise, he ordered his people to commit genocide as well. I guess that's his join the club initiation ritual, a hazing, if you will. God clearly could have cleansed the land of infidels and savages himself, but instead he ordered human beings to leave alive nothing that breathes. He ordered the utter destruction of an entire people at the hands of another people. Nothing should be left alive, he said. No children, no babies, no horses, dogs, goats, and certainly no sense of basic human decency. He asked his own people to become monsters when he could have put all of these creatures to rest peacefully himself, proving his power and giving the Hebrews an empirical assurance that they really were connected to divinity, however malevolent. Let's forget about the actual people and animals being slaughtered for the moment. Yes, that's a horrible tragedy and truly unforgivable. But what kind of all-loving being asks humans to become vicious murderers, killers of innocent babies and animals? Does God care about the mental health of his own people at all? Not even slightly. Imagine the PTSD of those participating had this bloodbath actually taken place, and there is no good evidence to suggest that it did. Thank Hitch. This is simply a fake news story the Hebrews were, proud to tell about themselves and their tribal war god. Of course, turning your chosen people into a bunch of genocidal monsters wasn't enough for the tribal war god of Abraham, or those canonizing such butchery. God supposedly also ordered the men not to slaughter the girls who had not known a man, the virgin girls. Imagine the test involved to make such a discovery. God allowed the Hebrew men to keep these virgin girls for themselves, turning the Hebrews into rapists as well. If your stomach isn't turning at this point, you're probably a Christian or religious Jew. And this is probably a story that's never really bothered you in the first place. And why would it? It's just a touch of genocide with a side of rape, sprinkled with a little holiness. That's not that bad, really. Whatever evidence you think there is for this God, the tribal war god of Abraham, there is certainly no evidence that this God gives a damn about us. Pun intended. And his supposed holy book is the only evidence needed to demonstrate that Richard Dawkins, while in no way mistaken, barely scratched the surface. Once again, I'm me, and I'm sorry you had to see this. But thanks for watching.
when I started seeing things, I didn't know what was happening, so I kept it in.
He started believing things that weren't true.
That's an advertisement for a drug to fight the side effects of a particular Parkinson's medication, which can sometimes cause hallucinations and delusions. But I'll bet you know someone who is suffering equally from Christianity, Judaism, Islam, crystals, homeopathy, or that most deadly of infections, Trumpism. Which is why I'm coming to you today to ask you to help me fight this deadly scourge of ignorance, irrationality, and reality denialism. Not to mention the truly horrific hair and makeup. And since times are so extremely difficult right now, I'm going to be doubling all rewards to those signing up to become a patron. That includes all current patrons as well, which means double the blessings, double the lottery numbers, double the secret handshakes. I'll enchant multiple pairs of underwear, flood you with indulgences, and I'll even double the top tier reward, giving those of you who really fork it over not 2, but 4 front row seats to the apocalypse. So don't wait. But wait, if you act now, I'll throw in several chances to make a first impression. You won't find that anywhere else. So head on over to Patreon now. The link is in the description below. But don't wait, because this offer will not last forever. At some point, I'll be dead. So sign up today. And to everyone who's already helped me out in whatever way, thank you, 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 thank you. And if you're someone who knows how to get that anti-delusion medication into the water supply, please contact me immediately. I'll see you next week.